It worked. Bottom line, our implementation of a parking fee for weekends and holidays, it worked. It curtailed the traffic. Our police enforcement involvement up there diminished quite significantly, saving you money, saving police time money. Obviously, we're going to get some input from the neighbors and see what their effects were. There's a lot of moving parts, but I think it worked. We did something good.
Welcome to Herrimanology,
the official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Monday, October 14th, a rare Monday Herrimanology. Sorry, we just had some things come up last week, couldn't make it work, so we're here today. Hope you had a nice weekend. Not often we're going to say that on Herrimanology.
No. Yeah, it was a busy week for us last week, and then the weekend came up real quick. So
yeah, let's look back to last weekend really quick. We had the Herriman Howl.
Oh man,
one of our favorite events. I mentioned last week how I don't hate Halloween. It's just not my holiday. Someone did say they also hate Halloween. So
my wife's in that category. She likes the aspect of Halloween, but not the hoogie, spooky, creepy stuff. So yeah.
But that said, the Herriman Howl is amazing every year. I love it. What did you think? You had a costume too.
Yeah. So it was not planned, but both of us, the mayor and I, showed up as pirates. We did have a pirate theme. With the beard and everything, my girls put beads in it. It was really awesome. The Herriman Howl is always a fantastic event. We had 10,000-ish they were anticipating. It was a lot. It didn't feel like that much because with the footprint of the site was a little bit bigger. We had more vendors. We had more food trucks. So the lines, that's the only thing. I don't think you can go anywhere without lines anymore. So if that's the only complaint, I think we scored good on that. It was a beautiful Monday night. The weather was gorgeous. And traffic flow was great. We're looking to make it a little bit easier and better next year. Yep. We grow and learn new things, and so next year it'll be better.
We're going to be working on sending out a survey to people. If you went, please let us know what you thought. You can be candid and honest. We won't have our feelings hurt very badly. Yeah. And it'll help us make it better for next year. We do take that into account for our town days or for the rodeo or for the Howl, Night of Lights. Those kind of major events. So watch for that and please fill it out if you can.
Yeah, awesome.
Last week we had a city council meeting. Yep. A lot of discussion, several voting items. We're not going to hit on everything. But first, the city council approved a design and a reimbursement agreement, basically a funding agreement for Mountain Ridge Park. This is something that a lot of people have looked forward to. What was the progress last week?
Yeah, so this project's been on our docket for a little bit. We've been working with our partner up there, developer, trying to figure out what's best. It's really expensive to put parks in, and so having somebody that will put it in for us and then enter an agreement where we can pay them back long term, it helps us advance these parks and get them in so your kids can use them when we have places to play.
So exciting. Look for Mountain Ridge Park. I think I might be wrong, so I might be speaking out of turn here, but I think they're going to start preliminary construction work late fall, winter, spring, and hopefully by the end of next year. That will be coming. A lengthy discussion, the last phase of a very lengthy discussion, an ordinance about recreational vehicle and accessory vehicle storage on homes. This is something that's been, I'll say, a hot topic over the last few years, something that the Planning Commission debated for a while, the City Council. There were a lot of different iterations of it. It passed last week. What passed?
So this topic, like John said, it's been in discussion for quite some time. And now we're going through a lot of our city ordinances and updating and correcting them, making sure we're not being redundant in some situations or controversial in other ones. And so all the codes should read properly and cite other codes and ordinances. So that's a lot of the cleanup we're doing. But through this process, we've noticed that there's some that are way off. And this was one of them, that where we want to protect personal property rights for your own trailer parking, for your own property. And that was the toughest struggle. Like, how do we enforce a rule and a law that doesn't diminish personal property rights? And so I think we came to a great conclusion on Wednesday night. We've got it to where there's a certain number and limited amount of storage you can do on your personal property and what type of storage. It's very detailed and it'll come out shortly and then be effect, I think, in Jan 1. I have to double check on that when it's effective date, but I think it's January 1. So through that process, we have it to where you can still park your own personal vehicle on there, your own RV, your own storage, your own utility vehicles, where you can store them on your property and how you can store them on your property is very detailed in there. And then it also takes into consideration these large lots or empty lots that have multiple trailers and multiple utility vehicles on them, say for rent or for purpose for where utility storage is. We kind of wanted to look at that and see how we can make it more feasible for these residential areas where they're not commercial properties or they're impacting that site of line where you're not able to travel safely out of your driveway or your neighbor's driveway. There's blockage of stop signs, that kind of thing. So that was the major hurdle. And I think we came to a pretty good compromise.
So I just, while you're talking there, I was looking through the ordinance, and I think it's effective immediately, but there's a 1 year.
Oh, that's right.
There's a 1 year kind of grace
Compliance.
period.
Yeah.
So 1 year for people to kind of become aware of the ordinance and make any adjustments as necessary.
Awesome.
And accessory vehicles, by the way, doesn't include dirt bikes or four-wheeler, those sorts of things. It's more so trailers and big RVs.
Large items. And most of it was because of the safety concerns of obscuring views and travel. So those are the major things. And thanks, John, for that clarification. And of course, our code enforcement, our law enforcement, even us, education first, will come out. You'll get a warning. You'll say, hey, this is the new ordinance. This is what's going to happen. This is the enforcement of it. Please take action and correct. And you do have that 12-month to become compliance.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, please email Planning and Zoning Department or the City Council or really anybody at the city. We'll get you the right answer depending on what your question is.
Yep.
One hot-ish item from the spring was Blackridge Reservoir. Yeah. And the city's new approach this year, which included a fee for parking on weekends and holidays up at the reservoir, because those were really heavy use peak times, and overcrowding was an issue. In the work meeting last week, we kind of recapped how it went. Yeah. And what came up. What were your thoughts?
It worked. Bottom line, our implementation of a parking fee or parking that structure we put in for weekends and holidays, it worked. It curtailed the traffic, especially those traveling from way outside our radius to come enjoy our amenity that we built for ours, that your tax money pays for. So we enforced this parking fee, and it worked. Our police enforcement involvement up there diminished quite significantly, saving you money, saving police time money. Our parking fees is very minimal for the full day. We're not making tons of money on it, but it's actually going to probably pay for itself. So it's an amazing thing when that can happen for our city.
So we think it'll probably be the same approach next year. Yeah. We promised people we would, as a city, look at how it went, and it seemed the goals were accomplished of kind of dispersing out the crowds. More people went on weeknights where it's free to be there, and fewer people went on weekends when peak crowding was a kind of an issue. So we think it'll probably be the same next year. Obviously,
we're going to get some input from the neighbors and see what their effects were and how we have a parking permit structure up there too. So there's a lot of moving parts, but I think it worked, and I think that was the outcome of that work meeting. We did something good.
Yeah. All right, and one last item from the general meeting was an amendment to a zone overlay. Let me pause on that really quick. So the City Council has zoning land use authority, and when an applicant comes they want to change the zoning, which is effectively the rules on how they can use the property, then the city can do a zoning change. So there's a type of zone overlay, which is kind of additional rules on land that the City Council has some authority over. So there's been one called the Sports and Entertainment Mixed Use Zone Overlay, SEMU, because we need another government acronym. Yep. What was the amendment made to that? What was basically the text changing what it means, and the City Council also applied it to an area in the city. What happened there?
So this This was a zone that we implemented when we first had the RSL facility come out several years ago in the Rose Crest Master Development area. And that's that big sports soccer complex just south. And so what we had to do is we curtailed it and did text especially for that entity and that property. We had like a 5,000 seat rule in there for a sports complex and XY. There was a couple other small things. So what we had to do, we had to amend that so we could curtail it to other areas, because guess what, guys, we got some cool stuff coming, and I think it's going to be amazing. So we wanted other sports entertainment facilities in our community, and so we had to make sure that that text and would overlay in that zoning ordinance. So
Yeah, basically before it was limited in its language so much that it could only be applicable
to large stadiums.
Yeah. And now it's applicable in other ways for smaller venues. So when we say they're sporting entertainment sort of things coming to Herriman, we're not talking big stadiums. We're talking sports-focused businesses and areas and places you can do sports in the city. So
yeah.
And last thing, we have a question from Karen. For No Dumb Questions this week. Karen said, I love listening to Herrimanology. Thanks for keeping us informed on all that is going on. My question is, when will Juniper Crest Road finish through to Mountain View Corridor? Is there a plan to finish it? I think we can all agree that it would free up a lot of morning congestion on Rosecrest once that is completed. And having lived up there, yes, there is a lot of morning traffic on Rosecrest. What can you tell us about Juniper Crest Road?
Yes, great question. And it's been a question asked many times to us directly or to other groups and entities. The school district's asking about it. Developers are asking about it. We have got a plan. We have got a great developer coming in that's going to start building in the South Hills area very soon. We were anticipating this fall, this winter, but I think it's going to be in springtime is actually when they start digging dirt. And that is one of their first checkbox marks items is to get Juniper Crest completed. Not only that, but I believe they're signing an agreement to do the park strips and beautify most of it that has not been beautified currently. So that's one of the things we've been working with them probably the last 6 months specifically on the Juniper Crest and what they're going to do and proposed. And they're a great developer partner, and I think we're going to be very well pleased. When they start going, they're going to go pretty quick on that road and then on their own development. So
we've talked a few times on Herrimanology about Wasatch South Hills, DAI, Utah, and Rosecrest, kind of reworking all those master development agreements for the South Hill side. This is kind of tied into that whole process. So put simply, as soon as that is all done, the agreements are in place. Like you said, Juniper Crest Road is top of that list. Of course, with anything, nothing is final until it's final, but that's what's being worked on right now.
And I think we're coming to the conclusion of those MDAs really quick in the next, I'm hoping, the month or two. I know they went through planning and zoning a couple weeks ago. They've gone to other districts throughout the county or throughout the area that they need to get certified or check boxed out, and then they're coming to us to finally go through the MDA. And I think we're getting a presentation next meeting, or if not, the first meeting in November, I believe. So
hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully that will help people over in the Skyridge community where I used to live, and so you don't have to drive 6 minutes to get 100 feet from your house.
Yeah, it'll help for the shopping complex over there at Academy. It'll help for the schools. And we know anytime that commute traffic, plus with what construction is going on 134th and Bangor, anytime we can get out of the city a little bit quicker, going south or north, it's going to help out.
Yeah. So. And speaking of Bangor, that long-term closure is now in place. Yeah. Again, a UDOT project outside of Herriman city boundaries. We have no say over that, but we are really happy that project's getting done. It's going to hurt for a year. It will hurt less than other interchange projects they've done.
Well, they did grant us a full east and west leaving and coming the city on the south end.
Yeah, basically they have gone out of their way to keep a left-hand turn
correct
from northbound Bangor to westbound 134. They haven't done that on any other Bangor interchange project, but realizing how many people need that in Herriman, they've made that work for us, which is super appreciated.
And they've been UDOT has been very accommodating on every aspect and every road. New developments on the U111 intersections there. All this stuff is going to come to you soon. You're gonna love what's happening in the next year or two. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about that project, you can go to UDOT's website, or we link to it from our website on our construction projects page.
Yeah.
We'll try to keep you updated as much as we get information from them. So thank you, Councilmember Hodges, for coming in today.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
I don't know,
as always.
I'm not sure if I even introduced you at the beginning, but Councilmember Teddy Hodges, District 2.
I look a little different this time of year, but it's
Looks good.
Yeah, it's getting there. Yeah.
Looks good.
So.
Thank you for listening and watching. As always, leave a question or a comment on any platform you're listening on, and we'll get to it. And we'll catch you next time.